Good evening, I'm Janella Massa. Tonight, in the midst of growing panic at the Kabul airport, a Canadian military plane finally takes off with 188 people on board. But for many more, the desperate wait continues.
We waited, they were shooting at us, non-stop shooting.
A Canadian Afghan family told to go to the airport by Canadian authorities met with chaos and danger. Journalists who spent their careers telling the story of Afghanistan reflect on its latest chapter.
Afghanistan always breaks your heart. It's chilling to see those images.
The U.S. land border stays closed to Canadians.
There's just no reasoning and no science.
Reaction from both sides of the border.
Paw Patrol, ready for action, right?
A major Canadian export and its big screen debut.
This is a funny one. It was great.
The Canadian star of the Paw Patrol movie and what discerning fans had to say. This is The National. Every day, the chaos and fear in Afghanistan deepens as people scared for their lives after the Taliban takeover clamor to get out of the country. Tonight, we can tell you 188 more have aboard a Canadian military plane. It took off last night from Kabul's airport, carrying 175 Afghans and 13 foreign nationals heading to other countries. People bound for Canada are in turn boarding other nations' planes, all part of the scramble to get out as many people as fast as possible. It's been nearly a week since the Taliban took control of Afghanistan's capital. Well, that was the first Canadian evacuation flight since the embassy shut down on Sunday. The plan is for many more to follow. But planes may not be enough if people can't reach them. Susan Ormiston with what one Canadian man says he encountered when he tried. And a note that we are protecting his identity for his safety.
Outside Kabul's airport, more chaos. Caught in the middle today, 15 Canadian Afghan men, women and children desperately waving their Canadian passports and flags.
We took all the risk just with the hope that our families would be able to call down and someone will say, yes, you're Canadians, come forward.
After days holed up in Kabul, a message came from Canadian authorities: go to the airport. They navigated dangerous Taliban checkpoints with no incident. But meters from the entry gate, U.S. soldiers fired to disperse the crowd.
We waited, they were shooting at us, non-stop shooting. There were women, Susan, trembling and shaking from the sound. This is a passage to death, list of a passage to safety and security.
Like so many, desperate to leave, this group was on the evacuation list and assured they too would get help to enter the airport. That didn't happen.
During this crisis,
Prime Minister Trudeau wouldn't answer if Canadian authorities would go outside the airport to retrieve evacuees, as other countries have.
I can tell you that everyone is working incredibly hard, day and night, to try and get as many people out of Afghanistan into safety as possible.
But many are still stranded. Aleem and his group back in Kabul in fear.
I'm talking here about Canada's sole responsibility to protect and secure its citizens. Where is that reality right now for 15 Canadian lives? How can I pose that question to Justin Trudeau right now on the election?
Unsafe where they are, they'll try the airport again. They have no choice. Susan Ormiston, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, Afghan women are increasingly concerned about their rights and safety following the Taliban takeover. Chris Brown hears from women there, where some are trying to get out, but others are determined to stay and fight.
The Taliban may be calling for moderation, but scenes of parading warriors in white will only fuel worries that Afghan women have much to fear from the militants whose treatment of them in the past was abhorrent. Today, this Afghan TV report showed a remarkable protest of brave women. We fought for a long time for our rights, she said. We don't want to lose what we have. The early days of this Taliban rule have been a mix of confusion and fear. said a young activist named Zara, who understandably asked us not to show her face. She's in Kabul but has spoken to women around the country.
3 out of the 6, they told me everything is uncertain right now. We don't know if the schools are going to reopen, if the Taliban are going to let us go to school.
The Taliban have let their officials be interviewed by women, and their leaders are saying things the West wants to hear.
The teachers are working, the doctors are working, the students are studying, the schools are open, the universities are open.
Still, it's hard to believe that such fanatics can temper their beliefs, says a former judge who now lives in the U.S.
They're probably playing that double game, asking international community, yes, we will be behaving, but unfortunately on the local level, they're pushing people and pressurizing people.
This young woman, who said she played basketball on Afghanistan's national team, was among the thousands trying to flee today.
It's scared because I'm girl.
But Zara, the young activist, told us she wants to stay.
The country will be left to a disaster if there are no activists standing here and telling the Taliban what is wrong and what is right.
Still, until the Taliban's intentions are clearer, she says she plans to stay out of sight. Chris Brown, CBC News, London.
Well, you may have seen one image shared on social media appearing to highlight the desperate situation on the ground. That's a baby being passed over the razor wire to a United States Marine at Kabul's airport. The Pentagon clarifying tonight that the child was ill and needed medical attention.
The Marine you see reaching it over the wall took it to a Norwegian hospital that's at the airport. They treated the child and returned the child to the child's father.
But the Pentagon says it doesn't know where the baby and the father are now. Well, let's turn now to the federal election campaign. 2 of the leaders were selling their economic plans in Winnipeg today, but Liberal leader Justin Trudeau also took a swing at his Conservative rivals' opposition to mandatory vaccines.
It's bad enough that Aaron O'Toole doesn't think his candidates should all have had their COVID-19 shots, but scrapping our commitment to make sure everyone on a plane or train is vaccinated, that's not just irresponsible, that's dangerous.
Trudeau said vaccine holdouts, like some in O'Toole's party, put Canadians at risk, accusing them of denying science and peddling disinformation. But the Conservative leader, who supports voluntary vaccinations, fired back with an accusation of his own.
Almost every day he's tried to divide and mislead Canadians. Canadians deserve better.
O'Toole also surprised some today by saying doctors who object to providing services like abortions must refer patients to other providers. Previously, he'd promised to protect the conscious rights of those whose beliefs prevent them from doing so. O'Toole has had to walk a fine line to appease both social conservatives and those with more progressive views within his party. Now, Liberal and Conservative leaders also spoke of their commitment to reconciliation today. But NDP leader Jagmeet Singh went a step further with a visit to Cowessess First Nation in Saskatchewan. Here's Olivia Stefanovich on the race for the Indigenous vote.
A small gesture, heavy with meaning. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh's campaign path led him through rows of small red flags, each representing evidence of possible human remains near the former Maryville Indian Residential School.
It's about Indigenous people being denied justice, being denied dignity.
Singh says his own experience with marginalization drives him to seek accountability.
I know a little bit what that's like, and I promise you I'll be different.
Singh made the announcement today in a Conservative stronghold where the NDP doesn't even have a confirmed candidate yet, indicating today's announcement is more about appealing to the wider Indigenous community, which other federal leaders are trying to court.
What we need to do is continue to be unbelievably ambitious.
Liberal leader Justin Trudeau is promising to advance the work his government started.
It is not an easy journey towards reconciliation we are on, but is one that we are on strongly, firmly, and resolutely.
Mr. Trudeau, I know, cares, but he never acts.
While Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole's pitch focuses on economic development.
Wouldn't it be great if for the first time we could have intergenerational opportunity and wealth transfer, not trauma.
But after so many broken promises, residential school survivors are looking for concrete action.
I take that as like when you hold a feather and you promise something, you know, and you have to live up to your words.
All three leaders have now visited the unmarked graves in Cowessess. Now they have 4 more weeks to prove they will live up to their commitments. Olivia Stefanovich, CBC News, Cowessess First Nation.
Canada's COVID cases are climbing higher every day as the Delta variant fuels another wave of the pandemic. More than 2,900 new infections were reported today across the country, about 500 more than a week ago. And you can see what it's doing to Canada's COVID curve, pushing it right back up. Well, the number of active cases in the Northwest Territories has now climbed to 198 as it battles a spreading outbreak. Several communities have declared states of emergency. And as Juanita Taylor shows us, they are pleading for help.
A Dene Hand Games tournament, like this one, has been identified as the super spreader event that started this outbreak earlier this month in Fort Good Hope. Just over 500 people live here. Now, a state of emergency has been declared. Most of the COVID cases in the Northwest Territories are here in Fort Good Hope.
We live in a bubble here. And we thought we were immune, but not the case.
Only 64% of eligible people in Fort Good Hope are fully vaccinated, but a housing shortage in the fly-in community makes containing the virus challenging.
We reached out to see if we could get some tents installed so that families could set a tent outside their home so they could separate the positive and the negative.
Amid a nursing shortage, the territorial government asked the Red Cross and the federal government for help.
We need help from nurses to help with testing, to help with vaccinations, to help with the work that comes with healthcare, taking care of people.
And there is concern the outbreak is only going to get bigger. The reproduction rate is high.
Basically 200% growth in case counts every 5 days or so.
We're just trying to prevent anymore by having everybody cooperate. And I have an awesome team, an awesome community that just are following directions, and we will overcome.
On the campaign trail today, Liberal leader Justin Trudeau said that the government is working with the Northwest Territories on what resources they need, and the Red Cross says it's doing the same. Juanita Taylor, CBC News, Yellowknife.
July's Euro 2020 final in London is now being considered a COVID-19 super spreader event. UK researchers say more than 2,200 people were likely to have been infectious at the game, with a further 3,400 potentially being infected at the packed event. The findings were part of a larger study which included 37 other events. Officials say even though the Euro numbers were of concern, the overall data shows mass crowd events can happen safely. Well, more bad news for Canadians hoping to cross the U.S. border tonight. Washington has extended the order, keeping it shut yet again, this time until at least September 21st. And as Katie Nicholson reports, for some, frustration is now giving way to pain.
Heather Keenly plays with her daughter outside their Montreal home, but her heart is in New York.
I'm the only American from my family on the Canadian side. I have my mother who's battling cancer right now. She's on the other side, my brother, and all of my extended aunts, uncles, and cousins are on the other side of the border.
This picture taken the last time the family was all together there.
We walk into my aunt's town every New Year's Day and go get coffee.
Nearly too pregnant to fly, the expectant mother is keen to pack up her family and drive across for a visit, but she can't.
There's just no reasoning and no science behind whether you're fully vaccinated or not vaccinated. You can enter by air, but a fully vaccinated can't enter by land.
Across the border, where the decision was made, it's not going over so well either. New York Congressman Brian Higgins tweeting today, "It is beyond disappointing. It is hurtful both at a human and economic level." It's more than that, says this Vancouver lawyer.
It seems to be discriminatory in its effect in that it allows people with the luxury of flying to the United States the ability to go see family and friends and travel for non-essential purposes, whereas people who aren't able to afford to fly are limited in the fact that they can't drive across the border and see their loved ones.
Worse, as variants push the number of infections up on both sides of the border, he says there could be further restrictions.
We should buckle up and be ready for probably a fourth wave.
Likely dashing Heather Keenley's hopes and dreams.
We are expecting a baby in October, so that makes it a little bit more difficult now because we're coming up to that point. So for sure my heart is over there right now.
But for now, she's stuck on this side of the border. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Vancouver.
Well, flying has become a bumpy business for both carriers and passengers. Airlines are having trouble keeping up with demand. And between cancellations and rescheduling, flyers are being made to wait. CBC's Philip Lee-Shannock spoke with some of them.
Pearson International Airport is a place of comings and goings, tearful farewells and happy reunions, and scenes of chaos shared on social media. This Vaughan, Ontario woman posted what she saw when she returned home from Florida. Long lines, crowds, luggage left everywhere.
So you just have to walk around and find it. So it was like a scavenger hunt.
Pearson Airport says due to delays in processing arrivals because of COVID-19 protocols, it's taking airline ground crews longer to unload backlogged luggage. But domestic flights are also plagued with delays and cancellations. This man waits for his daughter's flight from Fredericton. It was canceled once already and then delayed for hours. He hasn't seen her since the pandemic began.
It's been a long wait. And she was down there, she broke her neck and back, so I wasn't able to fly down there and even see her.
In a statement to CBC, WestJet said it went from 700 flights a day before the pandemic to as low as 30 flights a day. Now that it's back to operating 350 flights, it's recalling and hiring more than 4,000 pilots, cabin crew, customer service agents, and mechanics. Air Canada says flight delays are due to a lack of crews, as they haven't been able to ramp up operations as quickly as demand returned. This airline analyst says passengers are paying the price for missteps made by air carriers.
What airlines could do is to sell less flights to begin with, ensure that those flights are properly crewed, there's proper staffing, and start building from there.
And he says airlines should be held accountable because while flying is a privilege, as many have found out during this pandemic, the connections they make possible are vital. Philip Lee-Shannock, CBC News, Mississauga, Ontario.
Hurricane Grace is barreling towards mainland Mexico tonight after slamming the Cancun area. The storm is churning through the Gulf of Mexico as we speak and is expected to make landfall again overnight. Meanwhile, people in the U.S. are bracing for a different storm, Henri. That's one expected to hit New England by late Sunday and could bring some heavy rain to Atlantic Canada next week. Some badly needed international aid has finally started to arrive in Haiti after that devastating earthquake rocked the country nearly a week ago. More than 2,000 people were killed and hundreds more are still missing. In some villages, those who managed to survive are so desperate for food and water. Today, they fought over donations and attacked trucks that were carrying aid. We turn now to a social media platform under pressure to clean up its image. For years, OnlyFans has allowed creators to post and charge people for adult content. But that will soon come to an end. As Karen Pauls tells us, the move could have dangerous consequences for some.
During the pandemic, celebrities launched OnlyFans into the mainstream. Their fans followed. The platform also became a major source of income for sex workers.
It's been a while since we've done this.
The subscription-only site means Gwen Adora can run her own business and own her own content, pocketing 80% of all her income.
OnlyFans is currently like my main breadwinner.
But as of October 1st, OnlyFans will prohibit the posting of any content containing sexually explicit conduct to comply with the requests of our banking partners and payout providers. No reason for the request has been given.
People are very sensitive about sex in the financial industry for some reason, and a lot of companies will bow to those pressures.
This is just the latest platform forced to ban certain content after pressure from their financial institutions. Just last year, Pornhub removed tens of millions of videos after MasterCard and Visa said their credit cards could no longer be used on the site over concerns of suspected underage and non-consensual content.
We're encouraged that payment card companies are imposing some of those standards on the customers that they deal with. You can see that these standards are starting to have an effect on some of these higher risk sites.
But others say bans like this not only threaten livelihoods, they threaten lives.
These campaigns that are focused on, stopping exploitation online actually end up hurting sex workers and pushing them into situations that are more and more dangerous.
OnlyFans content creators say they still need clarity on what exactly is being banned. Nudity is allowed, but so far the company isn't saying how it will be monitored or policed. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Winnipeg.
The Liberals and the NDP are hoping to make gains in Alberta this election.
Right now in Alberta, the most popular leader is Rachel Notley, and the most popular federal leader is Jagmeet Singh.
Up next, how Jason Kenney's provincial unpopularity could impact the federal race. Plus, our conversation with two journalists who covered Afghanistan for years from the inside.
Afghanistan always breaks your heart. It's chilling to see those images.
Their fears about what's happening on the ground now. And later, a Canadian success story hits the big screen.
Ready for action. I saw Chase, Sky. It was great.
We're back in 2. Welcome back. He was once a star player on the Conservative political scene, but the shine may have come off of Alberta's premier. In fact, Jason Kenney is now so unpopular in his province that there's concern he could damage Tory prospects in the upcoming federal election. Aaron Collins has more now on the Kenney effect.
A rare sight in Alberta, an incumbent that isn't a Conservative.
Hello, I'm Heather McPherson. I'm the candidate for the NDP for the upcoming federal election.
Alberta's lone non-Conservative MP believes her party is poised for a breakthrough here.
Right now in Alberta, the most popular leader is Rachel Notley, and the most popular federal leader is Jagmeet Singh.
Support for federal Conservatives is down in Alberta, in part due to Premier Jason Kenney and his handling of the pandemic, a divisive figure who has some Albertans looking for political options.
The sort of old Alberta where one party has dominated the electoral results at both levels, I think is much less likely over the next decade.
That's why the Liberal leader was campaigning in this Calgary riding this week. Liberals won here in 2015. Conservatives took it back in 2019. Now Liberals hope to turn the tables again, targeting the Alberta Premier's record.
Your Conservative government here cut supports for our healthcare heroes at the exact wrong time.
Despite those kinds of attacks, the federal Conservative leader isn't distancing himself from his provincial counterparts.
I'm very proud to partner with our political cousins across the country.
But it's not just the left hoping to take advantage. This MP and former federal Conservative leadership candidate moved from Ontario to run here in Alberta.
And I say that the people in this area need someone to represent them and not represent Ottawa or represent Erin O'Toole.
That message resonates with people in this crowd, fired up by issues like carbon taxes and COVID vaccinations.
Our federal Conservatives, who I've always followed, have lost my vote because they're gone left.
He speaks the truth. He's speaking exactly what I'm feeling right now about the country.
Despite the sentiment here, this pollster says only a handful of Alberta seats are actually in play.
Half the population says it intends to vote federally for Erin O'Toole and the Conservatives. That is far and away twice the number of people who say that they will vote either for the NDP or for the Liberals.
Still, in a young campaign, even for a Liberal in Calgary, hope springs eternal.
Do you normally vote?
Yes, and we are going to vote Liberals. So
oh,
you got this household.
Thank you, thank you.
A sign that at least some change may be possible in Canada's Conservative heartland. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Calgary.
So what issues do you think need to be top priorities this election? We want to hear from you before the federal leaders square off next month. CBC is part of the broadcasting group hosting the main leaders debate on September 9th. Your concerns will help form the questions and direction of the debate. You can reach out online at cbcnews.ca and tell us what you think the leaders need to be talking about. Well, up next, for years they told the story of Afghanistan from Afghanistan.
I can't evoke the sensations that they must be feeling, and frankly, no way to imagine what they're going through.
Our conversation with two journalists about the country then and now. And later, what's changed since artists painted George Floyd's face around the world? The world was watching as the Taliban took over Afghanistan. Many of us stunned at just how quickly that country fell. But for those who've watched and told the story of that country for decades, it is devastating on another level. As journalists Sarah Chayes and Graham Smith have spent decades providing a fuller picture of Afghanistan, tonight their thoughts and fears as they see this latest chapter unfold.
Heartbreak, anger, grief, shame. It's a numbness. I can't evoke the sensations that they must be feeling, and frankly, no way to imagine what they're going through.
Afghanistan always breaks your heart. It's chilling to see those images, especially sort of bookending 9/11, where some of the most haunting images from New York when the Twin Towers were burning were people, humans, falling out of the sky. And here, almost exactly 20 years later, you have other people clinging to aircraft, American aircraft, falling from the sky as America abandons its longest war. It's so darkly poetic. I really question my own sanity sometimes in Afghanistan. My name is Graham Smith. I'm an author and consultant. I spent most of my professional life in Afghanistan. The Taliban could not have won without support from a huge section of the population in Afghanistan. That being said, not everyone supports the Taliban. I mean, I think it's an incredibly divided country. When they took Kandahar city, there were fireworks over the town. Some people were celebrating in the streets, and other people were hiding, fearful for their lives. So, yeah, it's an incredibly, incredibly divided country. We're just worried about what was going to happen next, hour by hour. Just before this conversation, I was getting updates about what my friend could see outside his window in Kabul and how he was worried about what's happening next. So it's a sort of minute by minute roller coaster of anxiety for everybody involved in Afghanistan.
This is my request not to show my face in the TV. I met with Graham Smith, it was 2006 in Kandahar, when he needed one fixer. Graham was one of my best friends in foreigners. Working with foreigners, it is a dangerous work in Afghanistan everywhere. The insurgents or the Taliban don't like those people that they work with foreigners. I want to ask from the Canadian government to help those people who help with you. I will request from them, please not to forget Afghanistan. Help with Afghanistan. Support good people in Afghanistan.
My name is Sarah Chase, and I used to be a correspondent for National Public Radio. When 9/11 happened, I jumped into the lineup and was sent to Afghanistan, and I ended up staying about a decade. The Afghan government never treated the population like citizens. They treated them like chickens to be plucked. And they would tell me, you know, the Taliban shake us down at night, but the government shakes us down in the daytime. We feel like we're standing, they would say, we're standing on two watermelons. There was, I think, all kinds of willful blindness. I found the most severe among Canadians and non-US NATO allies. And it was, this is a democratic government. We're there to support the democratic government against a nasty Taliban. And that was it. And no one really wanted to hear that the government was at least as much part of the problem as the Taliban were. I think women are going to go back to jail, basically. That means that they will be subject to a lot of abuse, and not only at the hands of the Taliban. So we're not just talking about the Taliban here. We're talking about, you know, a degree of unfreedom for women that is hard for Westerners to contemplate, and that frankly was only really loosened in some of the major metropolitan areas, and for a very few women at that.
In foreign countries, the people think that women are afraid of the Taliban coming back. But these women are not afraid. The Taliban couldn't have done what they did if they didn't have the support for decades from millions of Afghan women. They were cooking for the Taliban. They were sheltering them. They were the couriers. They were the spies. And so there are some women who will feel okay about what just happened. Now, most of the women I know who are my friends on Facebook live in the cities, and they are terrified because these boys from the districts just came into their neighborhoods with Kalashnikovs, and they don't know what's going to happen next. I was curious to meet the younger Taliban thinkers. Amar Zmarak is 35 years old.
We are more progressive than the past generation. When the world gave an opportunity to us to prove ourselves to the world, what we are and what we want, they will be surprised. When I was filming this documentary, when I sat down with a Taliban leader, he took me aside before the interview and he said, just, you can ask me anything, but don't ask me too many questions about democracy. And I said, sir, you know, I'm going to have to ask you about democracy. But it was clear that that was a sensitive topic for the Taliban. The Taliban are learning on the fly how to operate in the modern world. And some of them had never been on camera before, and they didn't know how a television interview worked. Now, they've never been in the presidential palace before, and they got to figure out how a government works. And they're going to learn on the fly in real time. We're going to see their mistakes, and it's going to be messy sometimes, I'm afraid.
Well, still ahead, a face and a message painted around the world.
I think the face of George Floyd, and I think that the murals that are being produced, it will continue.
How artists are making sure George Floyd's legacy lives on. We'll be right back. As cries against systemic racism echoed around the world last summer, a towering figure watched from the walls. George Floyd, his face brightly painted on murals, drove movements for change. And in the years since, some of those murals have faded, even vandalized. As you'll hear in this story we first brought you in May, the artists say the message still lives on.
the mural has been defaced 3 times, but it also has a life of its own. My name is Daniel Angulo. I live in Houston, Texas, and I'm a muralist. I've considered painting over it, actually, you know, just because I feel like it's a lot of work for me to go out there and clean it all the time. But at the same time, people care about it now. So just as much as it has been defaced, it also has been visited by several people. You know, we have candles and flowers, I guess, as gifts for the community.
We're gonna stand together. We're gonna uplift the good, push down the negative stuff.
We've had the chief of police to come out and actually stand in front of it and told the community and the city that this was not going to happen on his watch. So I think that's something that I have never experienced before, just to see the level of people with some leadership or power in the city that they want to protect our work. We've experienced in Houston that there's been several cases that people have come out and used public space to express their concerns with different issues. I think if that continues, you know, we'll have more to not let us forget what's going on around us. Murals have become part of that effort to not let us forget what we stand for.
My pieces are not, they're not political, but for that particular one, we had to. There's a saying that Nina Simone wrote that it's an artist's duty to reflect the times. My name is Mr. Detail 7. I'm a graffiti artist based in Nairobi, Kenya. We wanted to talk about what was happening concerning the racial discrimination that was happening. That picture specifically, it was a good picture to show. It was taken maybe, I think, in a good time in his life. It was a kind of smiling, so I thought it was the best photo to use at that time. It's haki. It's a Swahili word for justice. On the other side, we also did another mural of a police stepping over a citizen. So it's like a worldwide thing. There's a police brutality, I think, in a lot of countries in the world. So we try to put that message in that whole mural. The message, no, it hasn't faded. It looks a bit old, but it's still there.
What I want is for my son to have a more colorful place and a more colorful world. My name is Jackie Comrie. I am a mural artist, and I'm an artist who is truly obsessed with color. About a month before the George Floyd killing happened, I found out that I was pregnant, and everything hit differently for me. Everything affected me completely different. I started thinking, what if this were my child? How can I keep my child safe? So I felt that I needed to be present in that mural project and for my son. And I needed to contribute and be there, be a part of the movement and be a part of the process and the activism. Of course, there was a street mural. So because of the cars going by, it's already faded over time. There was a few people that actually rode their bikes on top of the letters and on top of the actual mural while we were producing it. So of course, it speaks volumes of the resistance and the lack of respect for the message. But the fact that we were there and it was the community and the people that were engaged in that message was what was important. I think the face of George Floyd, and I think that the murals that are being produced, it will continue. Mural art has been a form of activism for decades. It's nothing new. Working in public art and in the public realm, I have a responsibility to use my platform for social change. I feel that I don't take that that responsibility, I don't take it for granted. Murals have been produced around the world to talk about politics, to talk about social issues as a way of dialogue. So I think it will continue.
Up next, a popular Canadian TV show makes its big screen debut.
He's fearless, he's kind, he's caring, and he's always willing to do whatever it takes to save the people and the city.
The Canadian talent behind Paw Patrol's latest adventure.
I'm Jamie Poisson. Join me for CBC's daily news podcast, Front Burner. Every weekday, Front Burner takes you deep into the stories shaping Canada and the world. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Mike Richards is stepping aside as one of the hosts of Jeopardy! The announcement comes a day after it was revealed he made sexist and offensive comments on a podcast years ago. He says the controversy was too much of a distraction for the show. Richards will remain Jeopardy's executive producer. Well, from television now to the big screen, Paw Patrol. The movie made its debut today with an Edmonton area boy landing a major role in the film next to Hollywood A-list actors. Paige Parsons introduces us.
What a good boy. From backyard tug-of-war with his own puppy,
Paw Patrol, what's your emergency?
To leading the Paw Patrol squad on the big screen.
I got the call in February 2020, so that's over a year and a half ago now, so that's really crazy. Yeah, I was just a young boy back then, and now I've grown a little more.
In his first ever voice acting gig, 16-year-old Will Brisbane from Sherwood Park, Alberta, plays Ryder, a 10-year-old boy who leads the team of rescue dogs.
He's fearless, he's kind, he's caring, and he's always willing to do whatever it takes to save the people and the city.
A departure from the popular TV show set in Adventure Bay, Ryder and the dogs are off to the big city, trying to save it from their arch nemesis, Mayor Humdinger. Released today, the movie is the first full-length film from Canadian toy and entertainment company Spin Master, giving the well-loved rescue team a movie makeover.
It looks like big action movie stuff. It's something that you could only do at the scale of a theatrical film.
It was a hit with fans at this opening day matinee.
It was great. Paw Patrol. Did you like it? Yes.
Well, it's his very first movie. It was very captivating, and it was fast-paced. He didn't get out of his chair once, which is a huge win for parents.
Most of the people who worked on the movie are based in Canada.
The bulk of our team is here. That's why I think everybody involved really feels a sense of homegrown pride about the movie.
Including Brisbane. Thanks to the pandemic, his lines were recorded in an Edmonton studio. And while he won't get to walk a Hollywood red carpet, he did make it to the Toronto premiere. Tonight, he'll go to a showing with friends and family in his hometown, celebrating his starring role in one of Canada's most successful cultural exports. Paige Parsons, CBC News, Sherwood Park, Alberta.
Well, after the break, more illustrated fuzzy friends.
You can get a flavor for what we're talking about. It's not high quality stuff, but it's a load of fun.
We get a look at these abstract yet charitable pet portraits. That's next in our moment. Katie McDonald and Alex Ciccone from the Guelph Humane Society are drawing people's animals for a fundraiser. It's appropriately titled Bad Pet Portraits. Until August 27th, people can submit a photo of their pet and get a digital copy of a hand-drawn sketch. The artist behind the silly but charitable portraits and the community's reaction to them is our moment tonight.
People will submit their pets, and then they're randomly distributed to one of the directors. Some go for a 5-minute speed drawing. Some people are trying for realism and fall short.
We are just a little bit shy of our capital campaign goals, so we thought that this would be a really fantastic way to do some fundraising. I've been getting lots of cats and dogs. We've had a few hamsters. We've also had a few more exotic pets. So I had a horse and a mini donkey. The pet owners have absolutely loved it. Some of them are hilariously bad, mine included.
You'd think the people who send in a handsome photo of their dog are looking for something sort of fancy and professional, but they absolutely love the funny ones. The community response has just been really, really great. It's been lovely to see.
And it also goes to a really great cause. We're able to house more animals. We're able to have more enriching experiences for those animals while they're in the Guelph Humane Society's care as well. So all of the money will be going towards that initiative.
I gotta say, those are pretty impressive considering that Kate is a PhD and Alex is a lawyer, so no real artist background. Kudos to them because mine would just look like stick figures. Now, Kate does say that her 2-year-old does quality control, so she knows when her daughter can't figure out what animal it is, then she's gotta start again. That's the National for August 20th. Have a good night.